It is. Oh boy, what are their names? Allie and Sydney. I'm trying to think of their last names. Allie Krieger.
Okay.
I think Sydney LaRue.
Sure.
They're like their current.
Oh, they're active.
They're current. Yes.
How about that?
I was going to text you earlier today, Eric. You need to get it. You guys should pitch a Dick Vitale college basketball show.
Dick Vitale. How old is fucking Dick Vitale?
Well, he's
He's
back.
old,
he's
but
coming.
He's coming back
Saturday.
for the Duke game.
Oh, funny. I already work with one fucking boomer who doesn't know how to work a computer. I don't want to add another one to the mix.
I think Dick Vitale would be a lot better to work, a lot more fun to work with than Urban Meyer, though.
You never know, man. Let's see. Okay, stream is live. Let's shareable link.
Are Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan still together?
I don't know. I was wondering that too.
Casey. Man, that does sound like a wife, doesn't it? Do you want me to just go to the old one?
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, I do, John. I do.
Oh, no. They haven't been together since 2001. He is currently working on Wife 4.
Wow.
I didn't know Dennis Quaid was married to PJ Souls.
That's cool. That's fun. Like back in the day.
Yeah. 78 to 83.
Wow.
Yeah, his current wife is 34 years old. And he's 70.
I was going to say, he looks like the type that would have a 34-year-old wife these days.
Well, we were talking about on Substance episode, like, you know.
Yeah.
The character.
Yes.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't just use BTS footage and then edit it in.
Okay, we are live. Patron link is out. I'm just checking my email here. And then I don't really need a bio break, but it seems like I should take one.
Tradition now.
Yeah.
You're just going to flaunt tradition?
It's good luck, you know. I just heard from somebody who's already in New Orleans that the hotel sucks ass. So pretty excited about that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the place is overrun, so you got to figure.
Well, this is also Media Overflow Hotel they're sending us to, so it can't be the good one, right?
No,
because we booked a month ago.
Are you down there the whole weekend?
Hotel. Yeah.
I'm coming back Sunday morning. Yeah.
One of the
They
dads at
didn't
my
give you a
kid's
ticket?
school.
Dude, you know how expensive Super Bowl tickets are?
Yeah. I know.
It's like celebrities and like.
The one of the dads at my kid's school is doing the same thing. Eric, he's going down. His company has works for an agency, and they have like a house that he has to like go down and like supervise whatever endorsement shoots or something. I don't know. But he's coming back Sunday morning. He was like, "Yeah, the flights were real cheap."
I'm looking forward to like a nice chill. The best part about flying back to Albany too is like 50% of the time when you catch that second leg to Albany, it's a third full. Like,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
no one's fucking, especially if it's like a Sunday night or something, no one's flying back to Albany on Sunday night. It's the best.
I would be nervous getting on a plane this week. Are you feeling okay about it?
I feel genuinely as if it's my time to go. I can't control it.
We didn't get any
Jeez.
Threads questions this week.
The Zen.
I feel like there weren't any last
impressed.
week either, or if there were, there was one.
Well, I can't control it, Rachel, you know? So generally it's like, you know, why stress myself out about it?
No, I think that's a very healthy response. I don't share it.
Yeah.
but I respect
Well,
it.
That's fair.
Suzanne flies in and out of Reagan all the time. Like it's like a
Yeah.
once a month minimum that she's like doing that flight.
I'm going through Atlanta, which I love. I always try to go through there if I can help it.
God, you're like the first person who's ever said that.
Yeah, seriously.
I
airport's a
legitimately
real
do not understand anyone's beef with Atlanta.
hellscape.
It's the easiest fucking airport to get around in, and they have real food there. Aside from like now, a lot of times they'll put me through LaGuardia. Love LaGuardia. You saw me get excited about the protein bar in LaGuardia. But like you get there, you only ever have to do one thing in Atlanta, and that is find the closest stairs down to the tram. It takes you directly to the other place you got to be. Sure, it's like a little bit of a walk, but it's organized. Like I'm not going to some place where I
it's
got to
easy
get
to
out
get
on the
there.
tarmac and get on a fucking bus. Like that's some apocalyptic shit I'm not doing.
I love a small airport. I'm about that small airport life where it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, but at a
easy,
big airport,
in
if
and
something
out.
goes wrong, there's more options for you to get out and go route through somewhere else, right?
I don't know.
It's
When
a
I was stuck
hub,
in
so,
Chicago
like-
overnight, it did not feel like there were a lot of options to get out.
The only knock on wood, the only place I got stuck in Charlotte once. That airport sucks ass. Like, and I got stuck and had
Yeah.
to go to a nearby.
I had a
hotel,
string
but-
of just delay. Like every single flight had some bullshit delay. It started with my flight back from Indy. Remember, you beat me back to California.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was super late.
Ugh. And then I
Oh
had
yeah,
an
because we were going in
overnight-
the same direction. That's right.
Yeah, I had an overnight in, I want to say Denver, where I had to sleep in a chair.
They
It's like
also
all in a row.
there's a great sushi
Yeah.
place in Atlanta. That I like.
My last flight was when I went to Dallas last year, and they had delays even when we got on the tarmac, and like the plane, they had to shut the plane off, and so we're sitting out there in like 110-degree weather heat with
Yeah.
no AC, and then they eventually took us back and kicked us off the plane until they
Well,
fixed
that
it.
shit's like so dark when you're like on the plane and they're like, sorry, we're just gonna sit here for a little while, and you're like, wait, what? But they don't want you to get out of your seat. They're like, oh yeah, you can't use the bathroom. You're like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, but that was during that big heat wave that hit Dallas, so it was like 110, 115, so we're just out there cooking like a sardine can.
That's the worst.
Gross.
I am excited. I'm very excited for the weather.
Is it supposed to be nice?
75, 76.
Ooh,
It was
yeah.
8
That's
degrees
pretty
here
nice.
this morning, so
Yeah, it's
better.
How's the humidity?
I don't care. I love humidity.
You are a
New
freak.
Orleans.
Okay, got it.
New Orleans in February, 73 degrees, the smell of piss in the air.
The dry air up here desiccates me. Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing better than walking in just to a wall of humidity. It literally makes me like, I make sex noises. It feels so good. Like, it's like, oh God.
Oh, wow.
I was the
Don't
only
wanna
person in
know.
Southern.
Don't wanna
I was the
hear
only
about it.
person in South Florida that was just like, hell yeah, every day when I got up.
I mean, I kind of get
It
that
feels
in
like a warm
Hawaii,
hug.
but I don't know. Like in New York, it was quite hot and humid when I was there with you, and I was like, oh.
Well, yeah,
will-
but then,
it'll
but
do
also
that.
you're got the in that situation, you got the pavement like just cooking you basically with the heat bouncing
Oh,
off
yeah.
of it, you know.
Word.
All right, buy a break. John, hold
Yeah.
whatever you were gonna say. I don't think you needed to say.
I'm not. I'm just leaving, letting it go, letting it go.
Speaking of
Bye.
New York in June, I might actually be back there, John. Just for a quick in and out.
I mean, you let me know how much time you got.
I might be
Uh,
going to this event, and do you want to go with me?
Yeah, hell yeah, I love an event.
Okay.
What kind of event are we talking about?
It's like our like very like invite only Pride event. So it'll be like
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
They love me at the Pride events.
I was
like,
thinking you could totally be my my social lubrication.
Look, I'm happy. I would love to go. That'd be great.
Okay. All right. I'll let you know when it's all locked in. I'm like right now working out Pride's end of it, so it's like a combined sort of party. And yeah, I was like, I wonder if John would go with me.
Will there be DILFs? Is the question.
There will be a variety of DILFs. There will be. I mean, it's gonna be. I can't say like names, but it'll be like people you'll recognize people there.
Okay.
If we weren't live, I'd tell you more.
We can take this off the air.
Yeah.
No, that sounds great. You keep me posted.
Awesome.
Look, if for whatever reason you don't have another ticket, I'm not gonna hold it against you. But I'm here. I'm
Okay,
ready to go.
cool. It would be so fun. I mean, we're throwing our company's throwing the party. I think I can finagle a +1.
Well, you're not bringing
would
the
be-
gentleman. You're not bringing the.
No, because it's
mister.
like, yeah, no, it's just gonna be a quick in and out, and like we have these demonic kittens that can't be left alone for very long. So I think probably.
You're talking about real kittens. I was like, wait. What
Yeah,
is
no,
that, a
I'm talking
euphemism for
about the
something?
terrorists that live in my house and destroy everything they can. That is to whom I refer. And then the poor
When
elderly
is
cat
this?
that they torture. June.
When is the event?
Or-
Okay, June.
June. Oh, it might be in. I think it's early June. Early June.
Okay.
I'll let you know. For
I mean, I
sure.
should be around. Who the hell knows?
But it'll be fun. It'll be a fun night.
Yeah. Where are you guys doing it? Do you know?
I'll tell you offline. I'll give you all the deets offline. I'll tell you what it's all about, like the theme and like
very
who's going to be
excited.
there.
Okay.
There should be some good performances and stuff. It'll be cool.
Hell yes. I'm clearing my calendar. I might just
All right,
block the
cool.
first 2
I'm
weeks of
so
June,
glad.
just to be
I'm
safe.
so glad. Yeah. I think it'll be a fun night.
Okay.
You all ready?
Yeah. Let's
do
get
it.
into it.
LFG.
LFG. No. I work with a guy who unironically says bet.
I don't know what that means. Is that what the youths are saying, or is it
Gen
sports
Z
thing?
slang.
Okay.
It's like yes. That's all I can
Like, you
glean
bet.
from it.
Oh.
Bet.
Nice.
Bet.
Yeah, Delaney had a little bit of that face.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Companion from the quote-unquote people who brought you Barbarian, which we're going to discuss. That's always a little, nebulous, but we'll get there. Joining me tonight, first up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnars to the show.
Hello, Eric.
Next up from the Oakland, is it actually Oakland, Rachel? Oakland,
That is
California, West Coast. Please welcome Rachel to the show.
That's right. East Oakland, baby. Represent.
And I don't know the difference. And last up tonight from the frigid cornfields of Indiana. Please welcome Casey to the show.
West Side.
A number of other I states just ran through my head when I went to say that. That was the pause. And then I remembered which one it was. We're here tonight to talk about Companion.
Yay.
Yeah.
Sure
do
is.
you guys want to hear my theater story for this week?
Obviously.
Always.
Of course.
Well, when we get there, I'm gonna maybe need you guys to fill in a little bit of exposition for me that happened at the most important exposition point in the film,
Oh, no.
which is when she's giving her little speech at the end there. Because I'm watching, all of a sudden I hear door open, I hear loud children noises. So I went to a bow tie theater. That's like a northeastern chain. They have rooms for birthday parties there. And it's funny when you walk down the hallway, they always have them staged even when there isn't a party. And the walls are all glass so you can see in. And I always think this reminds me of like a Resident Evil movie. It reminds me of like a fake little fishbowl they've set up to just test zombies on some kids or something. Anyway, so a gaggle of children, the voices keep getting louder, and it's in the like penultimate scene of the movie. And I can't hear what she's saying. I can't follow. It's getting so loud. They all walk to the end of the hallway during a scene in which people are being shot and stabbed and cursing. These kids can't be 9 years old. And they're just looking around. And then
But they
finally
came into the theater, or the door
yes,
just opened?
they came in the theater. Finally, someone's mother treks in behind them and looks around and goes like, after way too much time, and essentially decides like this is not where we're supposed to be, and then they all walk out, and then I can refocus on the movie, and I'm like, I definitely missed the high watermark of this film,
Shit.
unfortunately. So
That sucks.
That was a Dogman birthday party, I believe.
oh, is that a
the-
movie that's out?
Dog
Yeah,
Man
probably,
film.
right? Probably.
Eric, you
yeah,
come
something
on,
like
you
that.
have kids. Like, how do you not know about the Dogman?
I don't take my children to movies, really, John. The last movie I took my kids to was Spirited Away, which
Do
came
they not
out
read the
pretty-
books though? My kids have like 15 Dogman books.
I don't have
It's like
boys.
one of
That sounds
those,
like a boy thing.
Well, the girls read them too. It's
Dog
for
man,
all.
huh? No, John.
he's a
Around
man,
here,
but
John.
he
Around
deals
here,
with
we
ladies.
read the modern iterations of the Babysitters Club, which
Yeah,
are
those
delightful. They basically
Yeah.
took all those old books and turned them into like graphic novels.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I've seen. Yeah, Dogman's a big hit. Big kids hit this weekend. So
Well,
You guys
not a big
need to
hit.
slip
some of them
Maybe
got a
never
little
heard of
taste of. I can't. You guys are blowing my mind. It's like a
Never-
huge.
I thought you were making some sort of Wolfman joke that I wasn't getting.
I only recognize one. I only recognize one Dogman, John, and that is John Candy from Spaceballs.
It would
name is
not be an
Barf. Thank you.
exaggeration to say the Dogman franchise is worth over $100 million. Like it is a
John,
very,
you call
very large media.
you call John Candy by his full. You call Barf by his full name, Bartholomew. God, I fucking love Spaceballs.
I saw the commercial for that the other day, and my first thought was, I bet I'd like that if Delaney was was the youngest and watching it.
No,
Still.
it's,
All right, y'all.
there's a lot of
Let's,
scatological jokes and.
I figured.
let's
I feel
do
like
it.
I've
Let's
slipped into a new timeline. I've never heard of this.
same. All right,
Unreal.
let's move on. Let's take a quick
Okay.
break and discuss Companion.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the front time. Main feature.
For a while there, John, I didn't really take my kids to the movies because I think I've mentioned this in the show before, but they are so tiny that legitimately for years they were not heavy enough to weigh the seat down.
Yeah.
And so if they tried to sit with their little butts all the way back, it would fucking fold in half. They'd have to literally sit on the edge of the seat for the whole movie. And I'm like, that can't be comfortable.
They have. Do your theaters not have the stools like the boosters?
I've never heard of such
A lot, like the AMC's in New York have
Yeah.
them, and it's like it basically you like.
You'd
put
have
it
to
on the
request
seat.
one though.
Yeah.
In like the kids' movies, they're in the back of the theater, like against the wall, and they
Oh.
just like have them stacked up. Usually,
Never seen that in my life.
Yeah, our theater stacks them up outside the door of the kids' movies.
Fascinating. Yeah. Nope, just getting folded in half like a
We,
taco.
I think we're gonna see Dogman this weekend. I will look. I can start texting you guys the kid movie trailers just to keep you.
Jace says
current,
Dogman
you
is
know.
from the creator of Captain Underpants. I've heard of that.
Yeah, Dave Pilkey. I mean, he's like that dude's a gazillionaire.
Oh, sorry, I don't know Dave Pilkey, John.
Wow, you know.
You know who I do know? Phil Tippett. I know who Phil Tippett is.
Local
you
hero
go.
Phil Tippett
That's
Yeah.
right.
rides
Phil
the
Tip-
BART.
Does he really? I
I'm
love that.
sure he
Yeah,
does.
my
that sounds like some
partner
shit.
rode the BART with him, and they talked about the Star Wars all the way to the city one day.
That sounds like some shit Phil Tippett would do, honestly, based
Yeah.
on what I know of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Tippett
John-
and his children's books.
There you
John,
go.
please bring us the word of the day.
Today's word is consort. That is CONSORT, consort. Give you the noun definition: a wife, husband, or companion. In particular, the spouse of a reigning monarch. You can also use the word consort to describe a ship sailing in company with another. And then as a verb, it means to habitually associate with, typically with the disapproval of others. So yeah,
So we're
consort.
consorts, is what you're saying.
You know, it's what my parents have said for many years. Comes to us from the Latin con, together, and sors or sort, meaning lot or destiny. And so like through the French, you get sharing or partner. Consort.
All right.
Blue.
What does that have to do with companion, John?
Well, it is. It's just a synonym at some level. But we can
Thanks.
dig into
Thanks,
companion.
John.
No, I mean you could actually. I think it. There, look, Iris, the main character here, could be described as a consort. I think that would be accurate. Even the disapproval aspect of the verb consort, because we know that one of her boyfriend Josh's friends, Kat, it's like very clear that Kat does not approve of Iris. That's like some of the early tension in the film. So yeah, Eric, you alluded to the fact this was marketed, I would say, quite heavily as from the creators of Barbarian. In fact, the poster says a new kind of love story from the creators of Barbarian. I was a little confused because when I got home and was researching, the director and writer of the film, Drew Hancock, was not involved with Barbarian. So that was, a learning experience. But Rachel did share some production notes, and I kind of skimmed through. I mean, it's so basically Drew Hancock had written the script. He had gotten in contact with the folks who made Barbarian. Krieger, is that the guy's last name?
Krieger.
Yeah, Zach Krieger, and some of the producers and other folks who had been part of Barbarian. And originally, they were really excited about it. They were gonna, I think Zach Krieger was even potentially gonna direct, and instead he pitched to Drew that he go on and take it. So Drew Hancock, he's like I was gonna say first time. This might be his first sort of like big theatrical direction attempt, but he's done a bunch of TV. He's even he's done some acting. He's done a bunch of writing. So he's been around. He's like definitely been involved in the entertainment biz. But this was like this is a big swing for him. The movie stars Sophie Thatcher, who we very recently saw in Heretic. She's also in Yellow Jackets. And then Jack Quaid, the progeny of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. They are
Nepo baby.
They are the couple Josh and Iris. We also, so Kat, I mentioned, played by Megan Surrey. We get some more Lucas Gage. A lot of Lucas Gage. Very exciting. And yeah, so
Harvey
I mean,
Guillen. Don't forget Harvey.
all right. No, I mean we'll hit everybody. We'll kind of work our way through. Look, my favorite, Mark Menchaca, I think that's how you say it, Mark Menchaca. Love that dude. So Josh and Iris, the film opens with sort of their meet cute experience in the supermarket, but they're sort of a youngish, elder Gen Z or young millennial couple. I don't know how old they're supposed to be. And they're living together. They're about to go on a trip to see some of Josh's friends and like stay with them at a quote cabin in the woods. It's actually like a very, very fancy home of Sergei, who is a Russian, what like nefarious type of, it's not clear how nefarious he is. That sort of becomes a bit of a plot point, but he is in a relationship with Kat. Kat is his side piece, I think it is appropriate to say. And they have one other set of friends, which is Eli and then Patrick. Eli is Harvey Guillen, and then Lucas Gage, Patrick. So you have these 6 friends. They're coming together. Iris is like very nervous about the whole situation. We should say like it's important that like there's like hints that we're operating in a bit of a sci-fi universe. Like so like the drive to the house, they are in a self-driving car, and it's like a self-driving car that's like not so advanced from where we are today, but like sufficiently advanced. Like it's driving without a GPS signal on like sort of off-road type roads. And so they get to the house, they start to have a good time. And there's like a pretty big reveal right at the end of the first act that, like, I don't know, like we're going to obviously have to talk about. I thought it was super interesting. And Rachel, you had sort of like flagged to us like, hey, make sure you like don't get spoiled on this thing. I was curious if Eric and Casey knew what was happening because
because
I
it's
will
in the
just-
trailer.
So I had never seen a trailer that revealed any of the.
However,
Why?
I actually think it does not matter at all. Like it's literally
No,
revealed in the first 25
ultimately,
minutes.
it doesn't.
Like, it doesn't.
No,
yeah.
I know.
If it was
But it
revealed in
is, like,
third
a cool
act,
surprise.
1,000%, I would have been like livid. But I think they probably all sat down and were like, "Is this a key twist, or can like I don't know?" It seems like it seems like they arrived at the decision that like it's okay to talk about this in the trailers, and I actually kind of agree with them.
Oh.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Well,
but to John's
so-
point, I kind of wish I wouldn't have seen it beforehand.
I just don't
I
think there's
made
enough
it-
of the movie that goes by before you know it for it to really make that much of a difference. But
No, look, where I was going is like I made it to the theater without having seen this sort of like second trailer that they released that had this sort of reveal in it. However, I got a fucking email newsletter that basically spoiled it in the subject line, and I was now it was like I'll just tell you it was something like women are flocking to see this movie about like an artificial woman's experience or something like that, and I was like, okay, yeah, but I didn't 100% know. I didn't know when it was going to come in. To Eric's point, I was like, holy shit, if this is like the big reveal of this movie, I'm going to be so pissed off. But it is revealed at the end of the first act that basically Iris is a robot. I mean, she's a robot. She is
you know
like
what's funny is I spent the first like 20, 25 minutes annoyed that I knew, and then when I saw how early it was, I was like, oh, like that's fine.
Well, and look, if you know, or even if you like think you know, they're dropping like just enough hints
Totally, yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
like kind of fun, even the way
When the friends
cat-
like,
way-
I don't like the idea of you, like that
Yeah.
line.
There's way more
Exactly.
surprises to come.
No, well, for sure. So she is like an android in the Blade Runner of the Blade Runner style. I don't know, like replicants, isn't that what they're called in Blade Runner?
Yeah.
She's very lifelike to the point that, like, again, like you're watching the first part of this movie and it's not 100% clear. She's basically his rental companion. It's like his girlfriend that he pays for in this company. I should have looked. What was the company called? Does anyone remember?
It had a good name.
It was
I remember
EX
this.
something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like
fully.
robotics or something. I don't know, but
No, it was a really good. It was a really. I'm gonna look. I'm looking.
yeah, but in any event, they deliver her to his house, and we get all this sort of midway through the film because what happens is their entire meet cute, their relationship sort of
It's
gets pretty quickly
empathics with an X.
empathics, yeah, gets pretty quickly, problematized or reprocessed as she's unaware that she is a robot. That's sort of like the most important thing, I guess, narratively to say. But obviously that gets revealed. It gets revealed in a pretty dark way because Josh has actually sort of jailbroken her. He's rooted her and uploaded some code that causes her to sort of like overrun some of the protections that had been built in, and she ends up murdering Sergey when he basically like tries to have sex with her and, in an unwanted capacity. So that then tees up the rest of the film where you have Josh who, unbeknownst to her, has like changed her programming. She's committed this murder. Craziness ensues.
Correct.
Yeah.
Rachel, I already know the answer, but what did you think?
This movie sucked at no. This movie, I loved it. I love this movie. I've seen it a couple times now, and there are
And
so
she
many
means
things.
more than twice.
So okay, we've talked in the past on this show about how AI is sort of a target-rich environment for horror, but nobody has quite cracked it yet. And one of the things I really liked about this is that it does kind of tap into this sort of ambient AI anxiety that we have, like culturally right now, but it turns it on its head in the way that it sort of flips the anxiety to being about what fallible humans do with AI, that as opposed to the AI itself being the source of the fear or the anxiety. And it does this great job of sort of linking those ideas to the very zeitgeisty and prescient ideas around the intersection of technology and misogyny, and the way that technology can like dehumanize people, whether it's like in present day putting a screen between us, in the near future having the line blurring between what humanity and technology is. Like if you make technology look like a person, that it shifts the way that you see people. And that this movie does a good job of sort of mining that in Josh's relationships with other humans as well. Jack Quaid is perfectly cast in this. I think he's very disarming. He's very charming and likable. So when he is in the early stages of this film, I found myself flip-flopping a lot about like who he was, but then it seeds all of these little things that are so telling, like nicknaming her Beep Boop, or when we see how he has her set, those kinds of moments really reveal this very specific brand of narcissism and misogyny in a way that I thought was really clever and felt very grounded in sort of present day anxieties. And then Iris herself is so great. I love Sophie Thatcher, and I think this is probably my favorite of her performances. Her arc as Iris is really great here, and you know, I love where she ends up in that sort of like mid credits beat. I think is really cool. Honestly, I mean, like, this movie to me is just like packed with characters that I found really interesting and complex, and without ever, and it's like thematically rich and like thought provoking, while also never sacrificing entertainment value. It's so funny in parts. I laughed out loud multiple times. It's thought provoking and it's hilarious. I just love it. I'm just gonna keep raving about how much I love it. So I'm gonna stop.
Somebody stop her.
Go to sleep, Rachel.
There you go.
Casey.
I ended up loving this movie too. I did see the second trailer because there's two Jack Quaid movies that are coming out here real kind of close to each other. So I was thinking it was the other trailer at first, and then I got caught. So I cut the spoiler early on. It didn't ruin the movie for me, and like Eric said, it happens early enough that it's not a big deal. I think I would have thought it was cooler if I hadn't known about it going in, but that's really all it is. But otherwise, I kind of agree completely with Rachel on a lot of stuff. There's so much going on here, and it's very kind of jam-packed with great acting and some great screenwriting and storytelling going on here. And the way that they handle the key is the last thing Rachel was saying here, but there's a lot of strong messaging, on the tech bros that you can draw parallels to and stuff like that, and the misogyny problems and everything, and the point of view coming from Sophie Thatcher and stuff as well, but they don't do such a great job. Whereas a lot of times when they're trying to get that heavy with the messaging, these movies get bogged down a bit and they slow down. And this does not. This is fun throughout, and they keep it fun.
Yeah.
I love Jack Quaid. I think he is a great actor. I've enjoyed most of the stuff I've watched him in. My personal favorite is Boimler on Star Trek Lower Decks. But so it was really uncomfortable and unsettling, like Rachel's saying too, to see him in this role when the asshole came out, because he's a very charming guy, and he seems friendly, and everything we've seen him in, he's kind of, dopey, a little bit dopey and lovable, outside of the obvious horror movies, but that seems to be like his niche, and so to see him go against that, it's really jarring and it's nice. I also love Harvey Guillen in this, who you would know as Gizmo on What We Do in the Shadows. He was great. I love seeing how his career is going after What We Do in the Shadows, but he was really good in this too. He had a bit of Jack Quaid's assholishness to him. That's one of the things I love when we get into the reveals and the spoilers and stuff, when we start to see the full scale of how deep this thing goes. And seeing Harvey's reaction to that, it's like, oh, I was not expecting that coming from that character. So there's a lot of good things coming from different directions to get you there. It's just a really good time, and it's got some really good action and gore. If anything, and this isn't a beef, for me, I think this works I think this is more of a sci-fi movie with some horror elements, but the horror elements are a bit different there. But I love sci-fi too, so I think this was a really great putting together of the genres.
Just keep the love fest going. Eric, you were on mute, but I could see your lips moving, and I assume you wanted me to go next.
John.
This movie's great. It's really, really good. Casey, the point you just made, I like. It's not. The podcast is called Bloody Good Horror, so I think it's at least worth addressing. This is not really a horror movie, like I almost at all. Like, I mean, you're right. It uses, there's certainly gore. It like uses, there's like tense moments, and it maybe uses a little bit of the genre language to play with it. But it's like a sci-fi thriller-ish. It's a dark comedy though. Like this thing,
definitely
is very, very funny. I actually I would like to watch it again. I think there's actually a lot of joke density, especially in certain scenes where, they're just like hitting things. Some of it's in the performances, some of it's in the writing. I think the Jack Quaid bit that you hit on, like the thing that's incredible here, because look, I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff. Like this isn't that far away from it. Like the thing that's revealing is like, I actually think this is like 20% different from his other characters. It's just like, that's like what the line is.
Yeah.
The question I have for Rachel, and like we can get into it now, or we can get into it later. Do you think Empathics has any female customers? Like this is just like a thing I want to know about the world that they live in.
I think probably it's probably
It's like
equivalent
1%.
to what is happening with sex dolls today. The one thing I would
dolls,
say though,
gigolos exist, John.
Tell me about sex dolls today. I know very little. Like this is.
I mean, I certainly
There are sex dolls for ladies, John.
they exist. I would say that probably the one wrinkle in this is that they do offer companionship and physical labor. So probably there's more women.
I could see women being attracted to this product for a sense of security too, just because of ladies that are living together.
To be honest,
and spoiler alert,
walking around at night.
Spoiler alert, we know there's a male model. So
no, totally. They're good at killing too, it turns out. So
only if you
amazingly,
hack them.
that's also
only if you hack them.
yeah.
Then they go full Terminator.
Rachel, you are raising something though that like, as you all will not be surprised. Like I'm very curious about the business model that underpins these things, because like they're only rentals. We learned that. Like they must be super freaking expensive, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
I would assume that there's like a model where you can purchase it, and then there is like a cost-effective rental situation.
Well,
You know
Jack
what I mean?
Quaid did say it was she was a rental.
Well, yeah, he's like, I don't
imagine
even
you get
own
somebody's
you.
used companion,
Yeah.
slightly loved companion.
Well, and that's Rachel sort of made mention of the like end credits. I think you're talking about when she's driving the car.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she
she's
sees
such
the
a
other
good
one
shot.
that looks just like her. You'd think they'd make them all look different, but
Well, the other one looks fairly different. Like it was customized differently.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just
of
it's
course,
her
but
face.
There's like a
same
base
person,
model,
right?
and then you
Yeah.
customize it. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not to sound like an expert, but that is how like advanced sex dolls exist right now.
Nice. If
Oh,
you
I'm
have any
aware.
websites
I go down,
you recommend,
I go
like,
down
does
creepier
Wirecutter have
avenues
any,
of the internet than John does. I know what's out there. Are you done, John? I don't want to step on.
Look, I'm gonna be searching sex dolls for the rest of the episode. So.
I have a documentary I'm going to send you that I think
Oh.
you'll enjoy.
I'll take that too. That sounds whatever that is. Sounds fun. I'm on board. Everybody else. I think this movie's fantastic. I will say something. You guys know I love strained analogies.
Yeah.
I would say that Don't Worry, Darling walked so that this movie could run.
Oh.
Now, that is not an AI
Are you
movie.
talking about Strange Darling?
No, I'm talking about Don't Worry, Darling, the Olivia Wilde thing.
Oh, I never saw it. Okay.
That movie's not about AI, but it is about sort of people, like women who like are being kind of kept and living in a world that they don't know what what reality is, right? And they're sort of being tricked. It made me think of it when we see how their couple origin stories are kind of embedded in them, because there's a very similar scene in Don't Worry Darling where Florence Pugh is like questioning all of their meeting stories, because everybody's like, wait a second, but like this, do you actually remember? Anyway, but there are a lot of interesting ideas played within that movie that I actually think this movie in a much more coherent way addresses, while bringing in this AI part of it. I think the surprising thing that you get when you go to see it is it's fucking hilarious. It is so smart and witty and funny.
Yeah.
And it kind of effortlessly goes back and forth between being lighthearted and like pitch black. Like you've got these funny scenes, and then you've got this scene where like she gets assaulted by the Russian guy and like just straight murks him. Like that scene is dark, right? But then you've got this like gay couple, hilarious. Like they're probably my two favorite characters. I love that dude from Black Lotus, but the other guy, I don't know him, but the guy who plays his partner is so funny.
Harvey.
Eli.
And I think what's interesting though, I love that little reveal, because when you kind of meet them, you sort of clock a little bit. You're like, there's like a little bit of a mismatch here. Like what's going on here? But then you kind of figure it out, right? Like, and it's
well, and their story, their meeting story is like such a meet cute story that it's a little like,
totally.
wait a second.
There's some really smart obscuring with casting. You don't know Harvey Guillen, but for those who do, that it bridges the sort of like surface gap, because you're like, of course, Lucas Gage would date Harvey. That's Harvey Guillen. He's so charming, so lovely, and it does. I think it's really smart red herring casting. In the same way, Jack is so perfectly, Jack is so perfectly cast.
You had pointed this particular thing out to me, which I hadn't really thought of, Rachel, but this idea of like what having a companion sort of seems to bring out in people, and this makes total sense. It's like it kind of absolves you from having to care at all about the needs of a partner, because they're not human. And so what it does is for each person, it brings out sort of their particular brand of narcissism, essentially. And we actually see, because we see kind of two different examples of it, we see how that manifests itself differently. But what we end up seeing from Jack Quaid, is that his name? Is
Josh,
like just a
movie,
just a deeply biting portrayal of this kind of like, it's essentially like an incel kind of vibe, honestly.
100% incel vibe.
Yeah, but sort of like
that's where he goes. Like when they get into and maybe this was.
But that's what's there
jammed up by
all
the
along,
kids
right?
When you,
but it's like not until
totally.
His world starts crumbling, this you start really seeing who he is, and that's like it's so smart in that way. So I think it deals with love, relationships, and sex in the modern world in a really fascinating way, while also asking a lot of interesting questions about AI and consciousness and autonomy and ethics. So it's really kind of delving into a bunch of things all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not answering any of the questions, but sci-fi doesn't necessarily have to do that. Like it's asking them in intriguing ways, and ultimately making you deeply empathetic for a robot character, which in itself is a really impressive feat.
She's the main character. I mean, that totally is like it's.
But like Rachel was saying before, this is a time where this is the first we're seeing it. AI is not a monster necessarily, and we're seeing ranges in these AIs. One of the I thought was a really great moment is when they were out in the woods after things started popping off, and Eli and Peter are out there looking for somebody, and Eli turned around and said something to Peter, basically said something about a robot. Then Peter's response, because we'd already seen that Sophie Thatcher's character didn't know she was a robot or anything like that. And so this scene, then all of a sudden Eli says something and Peter's like, Eli, I know I'm a robot. Yeah. And that was, to me, it's just like, oh, wow. How deep does that AI go?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea, he's been around long enough. These people are meant to be disposable, and he was kept around long enough that he was able to kind of like self-actualize in that way.
I do wonder why you wouldn't make it self-aware? I don't know. Why wouldn't you make it self-aware, but just make it so that it just pretends to not be? I don't know.
Or it doesn't
Maybe that
care.
maybe that
I mean,
leads
maybe
into
that's
the
part of
illusion
the
for the
fantasy.
owner
Yeah.
that they don't know. Yeah, it makes
feel
it
like
feel
it's-
maybe more real.
Yeah.
The
it makes it real. It makes it real.
It's worth saying too, right? Like, there again, this is a weird corners of the internet. I don't know if John knows about all this stuff, but like, there's already been a lot of controversy about AI chatbots and people like fully falling in love with them, and then the
well, there's a kid
algorithm
whose
or
parents are suing, I think,
right.
Character AI.
It's a
because
big
he
problem
killed
with
himself.
kids.
I mean, it's like,
but even like then all of a sudden companies just being like, we're going to change this algorithm, and the character changes, and then people losing their goddamn minds because they were like in love with this thing. Like, what it is with the AI and this like narcissism thing, Rachel, is like it essentially being programmed to just only validate you and tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
Which you can't do with a human partner
Right.
because they have their own thoughts and feelings and wants. But like, that's so clearly what people are going to want when this will be a reality potentially in our lifetime. Honestly,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like, okay, this was a question I wanted to ask, because like, here's the thing. These robots are strong. They like walk and act like humans. What are they made of? Because the humanoid robots that we see today are made out of metal, and they're fucking heavy. Like, you couldn't have sex with something that my guess is
no,
the
but
sex
we've seen in the last
robots are
15,
like,
20 years though, a continuing iteration of that process. Like, I feel like where we are now is they're trying to get the musculoskeletal thing down. They're just starting to connect the brains to really be brain. You know what I mean? Like, you ever seen John, oh God, what is that thing? The Matrix, like they released a bunch of prequel anime things.
yeah.
What did they call that?
It was
We're
called
kind
like
of in
Enter the Matrix, or
there's some
Animatrix,
things
yeah.
there where they sort of go back and talk about. I feel like that's where we are. We're in like the early times.
No,
but it's clear where it's going. Like,
I mean, they could make a robot that walks around like a human and like has skin on. My thing is, it would be very, very heavy, and its battery life. Look, batteries are the thing that's limiting like electric cars right now. Like, you're not going to make a fucking battery.
I'm
that
getting
this person's gonna,
hardcore.
like, walk around
What
and
is
use.
Umbrella's business model vibes?
No,
right
that's
now?
what I like. Look, the reason the movie works.
But the whole point of the
'cause
movie
it
though is
doesn't
it's like
force
it's
you
a
to
very like
answer those questions.
it doesn't.
Right.
It's not concerned about him. It's a
It's not about
very
that. Yeah.
It's very Black Mirror where it's like
Yeah.
And I'm actually I sort of am loving the last couple of years this genre movie where it was like, this was probably pitched as a Black Mirror or thought of in that way, and then somebody went, this is actually really good. We should like take it one step further.
Yeah, we should
And
explain it.
what I kind of dig about Black Mirror is like to what you're saying, John. They hand wave the how part. It's more like, if this happened, here's all the implications of it. You know what I mean?
I'm not complaining about the movie. You just made the statement that this will happen in our lifetime, and I am skeptical that there will be like people walking around that you won't be able to look at and know they're robots. And then if you tried to have sex with them, they wouldn't weigh like twice as much as they should.
A lot
Because
of guys out there
it's the
want to be
only way.
smothered, John. That's another thing about the internet. You might
Yeah, I don't know.
understand.
Wait till you see the Vor robots. That's going to be terrifying.
Yeah.
Look,
What is
there's a whole
what?
documentary I got to catch up on, Rachel. So
Never mind.
What are the four? Do I have to Google this?
Just after the show.
Yeah, that's a later discussion.
How do
I
you
actually
spell it?
know what that is too.
I keep forgetting that I'm with a bunch of prudes.
I mean, I'll own that every which way. Don't worry. That's what Rachel.
just
This is
looking-
why
I'm just Googling this now.
you're an important friend. Like, I need you to keep me on. You know.
No, but yeah, I just, to your point earlier, Casey, I love that it kind of for me was revelatory, and that I realized my fear about AI is not really actually about the tech, and it felt especially poignant in these last few weeks. It is the people who control it, the people that use it, and that to
Yeah, because
me,
it's got to be taught and guided from somewhere at some
Right.
in the beginning. Yeah, I agree.
and that
Yeah, who
really-
trained
I
it?
was like, aha, this is how you make. I mean, even though this movie is not especially scary, but like this is actually the fear that I'm experiencing, and it tapped into that in a way that was eye-opening. I don't know. I just
Well,
think
yeah,
there's so many. interesting ideas also about human nature, like little things. It's a really funny line later in the film when the people come in, the maintenance people come in, and he thinks he's like resolved the issue, and, and then he's like,
I
oh no,
fucking love that guy.
This
like-
guy's fucked.
this guy's
He's like, this
fucked.
guy's
Like,
fucked. Yeah.
amazing. But
Oh,
there is
dude.
that kind of like
So
this
good.
sort of drop line about like, why do people put them in their basement? Why do people mutilate them, cut them up, or whatever? Like there
Yeah,
is there's something about human nature that this movie explores through
Yeah.
the lens of AI that I was like, oh, that's
Well,
that's
like,
what's happening.
feels
This
like
is
Like when they
Interesting.
dropped her off, the technician came in and was showing him the controls and stuff and telling him how the boot up was gonna work, and then he said, "What then? What do I do?" And he's like, "Whatever you want, man." That's
Yeah.
kind of
I
creepy.
Well, then
I
they-
also,
and
on
then
the
he's having
second
sex with
time
it
watching
10
it,
seconds
watching
later.
that scene when he's just like flip, he's like, okay, you got to read the reader agreement. And you see him, he's just like flipping through,
Yeah.
it, like we all do. It's just
The boot up
so great
sequence
that
was
it's-
brilliant because what it does is so accurately portray the like frustrating mundanity of just set. Like I was just yesterday setting a Roku up for my children and looked just like he did, just impatient and bored and like, all right, fuck, okay, I gotta open the app, I gotta like the QR code, like the again, like because it's such it's like such mind-blowing technology, but to see it's always gonna suck. It's always gonna suck.
Yeah.
It's also just creepy, and then to like you gotta position yourself in front of the eyes so that it imprints on you. That was so well thought out and brilliantly
Yeah.
done. That
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And I love that they brought it back later in a moment of he's rushing through it is like even funnier.
Well, and
Yeah.
they show you the meet cute scene again.
Yeah,
the
I see. That's
dinosaur one.
brilliant. I loved the way they showed those scenes multiple times once the memories changed and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the one scene I can't get out of my head now that brought up, you know, the thought of Iris not knowing that she's a robot and Peter knowing she was a robot. That first 5 minutes of this movie, when that's the scene I keep going back to when Iris is in the room, convincing herself that, okay, you got to smile, you got to have a good time. That's why they don't know, because then you get that side of that relationship. So there's some apprehension coming from your companion and stuff like that. That's really smart screenwriting that flows through the whole movie.
Can I offer or proffer some feedback, or if I had any negative feedback, it is
Rachel's
think the
face says no.
Well, here's the thing. I think the third act, it gets like a little muddled. Like it almost suffers from the like too many endings problem. Well, to me, like the main conflict that the movie is focused on appropriately is Josh and Iris, and like that's how we need the movie to end. But I feel like the third act gets a little choppier because like the body count has like you've like killed almost all the people at that point. You're really down
Yeah.
to just the three of them, and you get the most exposition. It just, to me, like I don't even know how I would fix it. Like and so like when I say like I still love the movie, there was a moment where I was like, wait, okay, like what are we, where exactly are we trying to go here? It all comes together, and I think Rachel, you mentioned the like even the like little coda scene, I loved, because like there is this moment. It's actually the most prominent moment in the original trailer when she sets her hand on fire. And when you see the trailer for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is this movie about? Because it just seems so bizarre. It obviously, makes a lot more sense, and you get to see the sort of what she actually looks like underneath. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if anyone else felt that in that third act. To me, there's like a little bit of like, and even after he's dead, the movie goes for a little while, like there in a way that there could have
Kind of
probably
love
been an
it,
exclamation
though.
point.
Yeah, I
mean,
didn't really feel
it
that.
works.
It's like a mirror thing where she's in the shower. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, her makeup's staying on in the shower. Like just a weird little.
yeah.
Ultimately, there's a purpose to it. But there's the mirror scene where she's like pulling the skin off the hand and like seeing herself fully and accepting of it and kind of like, you're getting this idea that she's, you know, kind of self-actualized. I don't know. I kind of needed it. I feel like she earned it, but you know, that's my.
Oh yeah,
that's
she crossed the event
totally
horizon.
subjective. I loved it.
I think it all comes together, and I think they pull it off. It's almost more the like ups and downs of the action and the way that you're asked to like ramp up for a couple big scenes, and then it like brings you back down, and then you know, it's like there was a little bit of that going on. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it again. You guys know I don't watch many movies a second time. I'm definitely
That's
excited
wild.
to check this
It's
out
a
again.
fun rewatch. It's a fun
Yeah,
rewatch
no,
knowing everything, because you're going to see how thoughtfully like the ideas are seated in there, and they're like completely retextualized on a second watch. It's a good.
Well, and I think the
second
jokes,
watch.
there were jokes that I laughed about like 30 seconds after they happened. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
I feel like it'll hit a lot better second time through.
Yeah. You know, Rachel, what you just said about when she becomes self-aware and stuff, that's what cements this movie in my mind as a sci-fi movie, because it's all about the AI crossing that singularity into self-awareness. And that was her journey to get her there.
Well, isn't this like it's basically Blade Runner? Like this is the at the heart of what Blade Runner is about. It's like
Yeah, kind of.
Harrison Ford, and like, you know, does he know, and like will he get there? I mean, it's funny because we've been talking about it as an AI movie. Like I don't even think about it as an AI movie. It's a fucking Android movie. It's like like Blade Runner
Yeah.
did the exact same thing. We didn't call it AI back then. It's just that like we call all this technology AI now. That's like machine learning and like, you know, large language models and stuff. And it's like, all right, AI is like in the air. I get it. And from a marketing standpoint, like it's important to market. But like the
It's
technology,
in marketing and everything.
no, totally. But I mean, like the technology, and you guys, I'm just saying something that other people have said, but like the technology, the reason this movie works is like the technology is there to highlight like human failures and like grossness. You know, like it's like the mirror, it's the Black Mirror, right? That
Yeah.
Yeah.
what make-
I mean,
you know,
Eric,
so.
you referenced Don't Worry, Darling, and I totally see that too. But for me, I now see Blade Runner as well. But I was actually thinking about how it's such an interesting modern twist on the Stepford wife. You know, it's the
bit,
other
yeah.
side of that. You know, we're on the side of essentially we're in the subjective view of the Stepford wife. But it's interesting that this is like a plot device or a subgenre that is intrinsically feminist in a way. Attempted with Don't Worry, Darling, I think much more successful here, but it, you know, that was like a first wave feminism film.
You know what it is? It's like
Or second wave, sorry.
I think it's this feeling that is accurate that as this technology continues to grow and expand,
How will men
there will
exploit it?
always be people, trying to leverage it so that they
How
can
will
control
men
women.
intercourse it? Yeah.
yeah, can we have sex with it yet? Or
Totally. That's like on a simple, but even on a greater level, it's like used to sort of control women and get them to do what I want, basically.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Get
Or
it together, boys.
apparently-
Get it together.
Or apparently make Vor robots, which I now know what those are. If you want to know, I
You're
was laughing
welcome.
30 seconds ago. That's fucking weird, even for the places of the internet I've been, Rachel. So pretty wild.
I'm glad to open your eyes
I-
and broaden your horizons.
You know what? When I say something's weird, it's because like even the like, I can look at most things and be like, I mean, I don't get it, but I get it. I don't even understand this. Like,
I mean, I assume it's just people watching Nightmare on Elm Street 3 too soon. Like, do you not remember Freddy eating the Arquette?
wait.
I just watched that last week.
Oh, the like worm
Yeah.
deal. I gotcha. In part 5, there's like a force feeding scene.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
They never
I'm
stood a
waiting for
chance.
I'm waiting for John to Google this so we can talk about it.
I'm waiting. We'll pick this up after.
Okay, would you recommend Companion, Rachel?
Hardest of yes. This
Casey.
is
Absolutely.
John.
Yes.
I am also a hard yes. All right.
Rachel,
Four
you got
thumbs
a
up
long year to go. You already have your number one. I feel like,
I do.
clocked in.
I actually created a Google Doc that says Rachel's
Ooh.
movie is 2025,
Yes.
and I slapped Companion in the number one spot.
You're like, I don't even know about other movies.
Well, you may like what happens next after this break, but let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
We're gonna be twinsies.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Bumping Presents down to number 2, Companion, now the number 1 horror film in 2020.
A man of taste and sophistication. I've always said that about you. Aaron.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Lots of people have. Let's see. Angry Townsman says on YouTube on the live show, dang, I guess I'll need to check this movie out. I kind of wrote it off due to the AI-ness. Yeah, I would say
Get
don't.
into it.
I think it's one of the first movies that does it takes an actual intellectual look at AI it's not just like a gimmick, right? Like Megan is fun. And there are moments where Megan does stuff you're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But it's largely used as like a gimmick, whereas like this is like full on, we're looking at it as a phenomenon.
Just pretend it's not an AI movie. You don't even have to know about AI. You just robots.
No, I take his point though. Like I think what he's saying is like he thought it was largely like a gimmick, like Megan or something, or evil AI. What was that movie?
Afraid.
AI afraid or something. Afraid. Yeah, it's afraid.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I wish we had reviewed it just so you could have called it that for an hour.
Yeah. That's
Our friend Miles says, I've heard it compared to Ex Machina. I mean, it's just not serious. It's a funny movie, which Ex Machina is not so much. There's a little bit of humor in it, but this is almost a sci-fi horror comedy in some ways.
Well, Ex Machina is another good pull. I had meant to bring that up earlier because like this is like the version of Ex Machina where you're having a fun time while you're watching.
Right, but it is
It's
interested
like if
in
the dance scene was the runtime.
It is interested in
Yeah.
taking a deep look at the same ideas, just a much different lens.
Yeah.
Then Jay said, "Good God, don't Google Vor. You'll be in way over your head." And then I said, "Too
Well
late."
played. I see what you did there, the Jace.
Why did you know about this, Jace? That's my question.
Everybody telling on themselves today.
Jace is obviously a man of knowledge after what he did with our episodes last year.
True. I'm sure it was just for the
Oh
data.
man, like the fan art is fucking something else. Like what is happening? Don't people just have sex anymore? This is my question. Like, what is happening?
Try to,
Yeah,
Just
I'm not
are you
opposed.
afraid this is gonna awaken something in you?
No, you know what? I don't understand it, and so it's making me confused and angry. That's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know that we have much in the way of fan mail this week. There's nothing on email, Casey. Nothing on Threads still.
No, nothing on Threads.
All right, we
tonight.
might have like one question, but let's see. All right, 3 questions. I give you guys a heads up on this one. If you could have a companion bot as any celebrity, who would it be? I think we all decided to answer this platonically to make the question less creepy. So-
Yes.
Although my answer is not platonic, and it is Fastbender. I want a fast bot. Is what I want.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, that's a good one. Understandable. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think you are required to have sex with it. And like, to be honest, the thing I want my sex toy to do is not talk to me. So I think I would pick a celebrity that I just wanted to like hang with, like to be a companion. So I'm gonna go with Carrie Fisher, who would just like sit around and like say sarcastic shit, and that's
Carrie
that's
Fisher
what
would be a lot of fun.
That's a good one. As I said before when we were talking about this pre-show, I'm gonna go with Ted from the movie Ted, the Seth
Cute.
MacFarlane version, because Ted would be the perfect companion to hang out, drink beer, smoke some bud, and watch B movies with. We'd have a grand old time.
See?
I like Ted. I also think that like Carrie Fisher is a great one because you could like sick her on your enemies.
Yeah.
Imagine like getting Carrie Fisher to just read somebody to filth that you don't
Yeah.
like. I feel like that'd be
Yeah,
a
if
lot.
my roasting
Oh, yeah.
skills suddenly just blow up, assume that I have somehow gotten a hold of a Carrie Fisher companion.
Yeah, I still haven't come up with a good one. I didn't know if we can do cartoon characters. That's a whole different ballgame. Probably, I would go with Bender, probably from Futurama.
There you go.
Bender.
And I don't need to have sex with it, just to be clear. But I love Bender. Big Bender.
I like the parsing there. I don't need to. I just
No,
want
no.
to.
It's not off the table, but
we're closer to Bender being the robot that's fucking walking around and talking to you than the Sophie Thatcher or whatever. So
no, the technology might be better than you think, Mr. Schnars.
I don't know, we'll see.
It might be more advanced than you
So
think.
Prove me wrong, AI companies.
so am I to understand from this description? I'm reading about the different classifications of vor, Rachel.
Okay, I'm
and
not
it-
an expert.
And it says that hard vor, quote unquote, hard vor is a type of vorophilia that is a sexual fantasy of cannibalism.
Yeah.
Does that mean this is what our Army Hammer is into?
Yeah, I would say that he's probably pretty vor adjacent.
You might
if
know
not,
about
like,
this. Direct.
What's
like,
that?
You might be into this
He
directly.
almost definitely does. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, there are variations to vor. I know someone who like did sex work and did like vor fantasy stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we just set up like a weekly one-on-one where you just tell me what smoke on the street is? Like, what's the weird shit out there this week? I feel so behind, and I'm way more caught up than John is. So
Yeah.
Imagine-
What's funny is in my friend circles, I'm like the vanilla one who like is always like, tell me more, because I don't freaking know compared to them.
we're just down the trough. Like, we're just like,
Yeah.
Rachel, you help us. This is like when Mark was younger and I used to make him give me new music because he was young and hip. He's not anymore, right? But like, this is just a different version of that.
I hope you're not calling him.
No, that was like a
still.
good 5 to 6 year period, like college and a few years out, and then I was like, oh, you're as useless as I am now. So
Yeah.
I'll
And
do
now
my
he's got
best.
3 kids, so it's going to be all about Dogman.
I'll have you know, John, the word vor has a Latin origin.
Is it VOIRE?
VORE.
B-O-R, yeah.
Oh, just VORE. Okay.
It is a shortening of vorarophilia, joining the Latin verb vorare, to swallow or devour, and the Greek-based combining form philia, having an abnormal liking for something.
I'm so sorry.
Carnivore.
I knew the second part. Cool. So is that our only question?
No.
Just the best one.
Schnecky91, is this movie ruining the dreams of every pervy dude out there? I think the moral is don't hack it, first of all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
follow the instructions.
If he didn't use
You
it to
know.
kill someone, he'd still be just having a really fun time with his,
It seems like maybe
Paid
don't give
sex
them
friend.
like superhuman strength. That is a little bit of like because like they say they just have normal strength, I guess. But then maybe it's because that dude is just bigger, that he's able to like
Lucas Cage.
be a
I
Terminator.
mean, he also turned the aggression up. That's the like hacking thing that he went in there to do.
Yeah, but John, I could be really aggressive and it wouldn't matter.
Well, your
Maybe
hand
just
isn't
like
made out of
no
metal.
self like preservation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he
That's
threw-
fair.
Yeah. Like
He doesn't
he's standing on
ever-
business.
The Lucas Cage character doesn't ever do anything that demonstrates super strength. Like when he punches the cop, he just like has a metal hand and like
Yeah.
keeps punching him until his face is like,
Yeah.
God,
Goo.
that scene is wild.
That is
Yeah.
a good scene.
Ah, this movie's so good. There's just so many good
It's
things,
sweet.
and I'm,
You know
I'm
what's
so glad there's
brilliant?
another Mark Menchaca head, and I thought I was like alone on the island of loving that actor.
One brilliant scene I
Yeah, he's so
loved
good.
was when she quickly switches her language to German because
Yeah.
she can't lie. I thought that was so clever. That was so interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
Also, hacking the voice activated car was so great.
That was
There's
awesome.
so
Yeah, it's
many
cool.
smart.
That's good.
And then, but
that
the
he came up with an
moment,
idea and then use the technology in such like surprising and interesting ways.
the other moment though, where I was like thinking this through is when at the end, towards the end, when the other guy is, when the workers show up and the guy's dressed up like a cop. And I was like, how are they getting around this here? The lying thing. Is that why you dress him up as the cop? so that if the cop has to say like, "Oh, I killed this person," it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I
Yeah.
think you probably asked the cop less questions.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was
because they
thinking.
never
There's
asked
something
him
there.
anything directly, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a certain amount of assumption of trust what comes with the uniform. I know it's
Yeah.
not a well-earned trust, but it
no,
happens.
I understand. No, I get
I'd
it.
have to watch
But-
that scene again. I don't remember. Like, I wasn't. Now that you're talking about it,
That I'm just saying that aspect is involved in that scene, right? Because
Yeah.
like he's
Oh,
got to
yeah.
ensure that the kid, he's got to ensure that he doesn't say something that incriminates him or whatever.
Yeah.
Last question.
I was
from-
curious, really quick on that scene. I was curious if the like younger assistant was also a robot. I thought that might be a thing they were gonna do. Like the not the main guy who was like cracking wise about
Yeah.
but the I mean
one that, like,
it doesn't
cracked
matter
me
one way or
like
the other. It just I had a little vibe going.
Last question from Craig. How many fingers would Eric cut off for a Schnars companion? I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think
one. He's got
think-
one right here. What's the
I think
problem?
one is enough. And if I was gonna have a companion, quote unquote, I would need them to be able to play yes and. So it would not be Schnars. No offense, John.
Yeah, you're gonna have to jailbreak that John bot if you want to. Yes, and
Just take that yes and meter and just crank it up.
Yeah,
Improv, Bill.
You got to buy the additional yes and mod.
That's right.
Oh Lord, you guys.
If I had a Schnars bot, though, I would keep the long hair and he'd not be allowed to cut it. Just so we're clear.
I did call the barber today, and the guy that I like to see he doesn't work Wednesdays, so I didn't go.
He was like, "No, I'm not going to touch those flowing locks of yours."
I'm gonna keep. Don't worry, it's gonna be still keeping some body here.
just gonna add some layers, get some movement in there.
I gotta just gotta clean it up a little,
Do you put product in that thing?
No, that's too much effort.
Brush or comb?
Brush. You
Blow
gotta go
dry
to
or air
brush. when
dry.
Air.
You don't want to tell me I have a brush.
Yeah, I couldn't get a comb through mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Mine's
Conditioner?
still real super thick in spots.
Dude, conditioner. Yeah, that's like day
Yeah,
one.
you
You
have to.
gotta condition. Come on.
Otherwise, you're gonna get split ends.
Yeah. I don't condition my beard because it messes with the fluff, which is my favorite part. I like the.
The body.
The fullness, the volume.
I do use a balm though, as we've covered.
So next week, Hard Eyes. I had
Yes.
never seen anything about this movie except the poster, and then I got the trailer in front of Companion.
Yeah, I haven't
I
seen
got
the
the
trailer.
it was like a red band. It was a red band trailer, and it was pretty
Yeah,
red
that,
band.
that director has done some cool stuff. I like
I didn't.
him.
Even, I meant to look.
And then also, I mean, it has Daddy Devon Sawa in it, so sold. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
I do like Devon Sawa.
Oh, he did. He did Scare Me, Werewolves Within. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Josh
All right.
Rubin, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Rubin.
So I think that's
so
gonna be
yeah.
fun.
Next week.
Love it. Next week, Hard Eyes. Oh my God! Speaking of Hard Eyes, because it's real quick, and then we can wrap. Valentine's Day is coming up. I watched for the first time ever the movie Valentine from 2001,
With David Boreanaz.
and I knew it was
Yes.
bad because I'd heard people say it was bad. I had no idea how bad it was. I was actually blown away by how unbelievably
Staff
incompetently
pick,
terrible it was.
Staff pick.
It is so silly. So silly. What a weird fucking movie.
The odds
I've
are
never
all
seen
time,
it.
man.
I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I've never.
It's
seen
also
it.
a time capsule for just some of the worst fashion that ever came out of the early 2000s. Like every shirt that David Boreanaz has on is short sleeve, but the sleeves go down past his elbow. Like
Ooh.
it's just
Ooh,
hideous.
that
Like
was a look, wasn't it? Ooh.
yeah, that was not a good time for me, Rachel. Baggy clothes is not. No, I look
Yeah.
like a child.
Yeah, you need to skim. You need to
That's right. I need to. Right. I need it to be. I need people to see where my body starts and ends. Terrible. Just an unbelievable. Like I enjoyed it. Honestly, I had fun. But it's fucking god awful. I was blown away.
I love it.
Where is it streamable?
Yeah. I think I rented it on Amazon. I think I paid for it.
Yeah.
The pleasure.
Very good.
Anyway, that is it. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.